What's going on, Misfit Nation? Welcome to another episode of the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Matt the Misfit. Tonight, we're going to go over the 30th anniversary of Monday Night Raw. That's right, Raw is XXX. Hopefully, my video doesn't get taken down because of that. I'm very weary about how I'm going to title this episode. But this is your Monday Night Raw review for January the 23rd, 2023. One of the go-home shows for the Royal Rumble, which happens this Saturday night. I consider this as probably the best Raw of 2023 so far. We've seen passing of the torch between The Undertaker and Bray Wyatt. We've seen the trial of Sami Zayn. Originally, it was going to be Bloodline acknowledging ceremony. That was changed. People say that it's because people in the Bloodline, the actual Bloodline, couldn't make the show. I call bullshit on that. My answer, I'll get to that in a little bit. There was a match cut because of the opening segment between the Bloodline and Sami Zayn going way too fucking long. We see the return of Brock Lesnar. We saw a hilarious segment with DX, and they didn't bury anyone, which is great to see. And all that good stuff. If you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, comment down below, hit the like button, do all the other stuff that comes with it, like all the social medias. Misfit Podcast TV on Twitter, Misfit Wrestling Pod on Instagram, Misfit Wrestling Podcasts on the Facebook, right here on youtube.com/Misfit Wrestling Podcast. And on the audio side of other things, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, Google Podcasts, Pandora, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. You can find us all there and much, much more. Before we get into the night show, let's talk about what happened early on in the day. We found out earlier today, WWE 2K23 announcement was announced. We found out who the cover star is. It is John Cena. Done all that stuff here. We do have confirmation of the 2K Showcase mode, which is going to be matches that Cena lost instead of matches Cena won. So you're going to be playing as the opponents. Matches that I can confirm they're going to be on this Showcase mode. We have Cena's debut match on SmackDown in 2002 against Kurt Angle. The ECW One Night Stand match between Rob Van Dam. SummerSlam 2008 against Batista, The Rock from Mania 28. The Mania 34 match between The Undertaker. The most recent match he had at SummerSlam with Roman Reigns. Night of Champions in 2009 against Triple H. The squash match between Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2014. The incredible instant classic match with AJ Styles at SummerSlam 2016. We have the DLC pre-order bonus, which is a Bad Bunny. And also on the Legends side of things for the DLC thing, if you pre-order the game on the Icons Edition, there is a Ruthless Aggression section for that. On there, you're going to have a Batista Leviathan, that version. You have a prototype John Cena. You're going to have an OVW Randy Orton and an OVW Kurt Angle. Some of the new arenas, or what's in here. Also confirmed for the game is the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, as well as Braun Breaker, the NXT champion. We also found out the name of the matches. One of the matches that's going to be in this year's game, War Games. Yes, that's right. War Games will be making its long-awaited debut into video games. 2K put out this statement stating that the fan favorite action-packed War Games match makes a long-awaited debut in WWE 2K23. Delivers heart-pounding 3 versus 3 and 4 versus 4 multiplayer or single player mayhem inside 2 rings, surrounded one by one giant cage. They can be played by either women's war games or men's war games, and will feature a plethora of weapons that you can get while you're on the outside roaming freely before you get inside the match. If you are playing war games by yourself, you can do like you would do in a normal tag match. You can freely switch from one member of your team to another, like in a normal match there. So we did find out that my GM has been, I guess, updated. There's going to be more GMs to choose from with the ability to play as your own custom ability GM like last year. Multiple seasons instead of just one season. There's going to be multiple seasons you can do. Extended match card. I don't know exactly what that means. More match types up to 4 players. War games is not one of them. And additional show options, whatever that means. Obviously, there's that. My Rise. It's going to be the same process as last year. The only difference is if you were to create a character that you had made outside of My Rise, let's say you made a character from scratch. Like I have this character that I come up with called the Bruiser, and I create him every year. I think I called him somebody else. I think I called him Matt Black, or Matt the Destroyer Black is what I called him. I renamed him and everything, and he's like a mix between Malachi Black and somebody else. I forget who it was. But let's say if I created him outside the My Rise mode, I can just import him now into My Rise, and they don't have to worry about creating an entire character from scratch, which is great to see. There's a new reworked story system in universe mode, whatever that means. I'm very interested. Does that mean we're gonna introduce story designer in a way to universe mode? That'd be interesting. We also found out some new things for our creation suite. Interesting. We're kind of great. You can create your own GMs and all that stuff. We did find out that custom arenas will be playable. Community creations cross-platform is returning. It was a big feature last year, and it actually is working. And I actually love it because because I've downloaded on 2K22 on the Xbox One. I still don't have still working on it. It's very hard to find a new system, but I've downloaded characters from other consoles. Like there's Dakota Rhodes that I downloaded from PS4 that's on my Xbox One. I have a great Muda that I downloaded that I was on my PC last night, and I downloaded the Muda that was created on Xbox Series X, I think. But that's pretty cool. That is all the information that we have here for that. The game comes out on March 17th, 2023, and the early access thing is for the deluxe edition or the icons edition, which is going to have that, and also coming with the icons edition. The early access is March 14th. Speaking of which, there is this match. If you pre-order that game, that version of the game, you get WrestleMania 22 as an arena. So that sounds like a lot of fun. And I think, from what I understand, War Games is going to be across all platforms, so that should be fun. But that is all the stuff and the news on WWE 2K23. Let's get into Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw. Like I said, this is one of the better go home shows I've seen in a long time from WWE. This is probably one of the better, what's the word I'm looking for? Reunion type shows here. And unlike how Vince would do this, Triple H use the legends how they're supposed to be used. Bring them in to put over other people. Unfortunately, one of those people that didn't need to be on this show was Hulk Hogan because he did not. He technically had no help in creating the launch of Monday Night Raw. I'm being 100% honest here. I don't even remember him on any of the early episodes of Raw. But I'm not gonna go over what happened to Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan comes out, he starts talking. He's a gibberish bullshit. His microphone keeps getting cut off, which was probably the best part about that whole thing. And to get a pop in the crowd, Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going for the Cincinnati Bengals because they should have fucking won it last year. That's just me. We get that video package that we saw playing on SmackDown that goes over to the moments of Monday Night Raw. Interesting enough, they did leave out CM Punk's pipe bomb, but given who's running the show and who they don't like each other, there's that. Actually, the show we get the trial of Sami Zayn. So they come out here. Roman Reigns takes his 4-hour walk to the ring, and he comes out and just they sit down. Says, "Wise man." Heyman gets the microphone and says, "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury," aka he's talking about the fans here. The fans start chanting ECW because they're in Philadelphia. Philadelphia was on fire tonight, by the way. Then again, it's Philadelphia. They're always on fire, and it's one of my favorite crowds. Heyman recognizes the chant. He says that ECW is very, very near and dear to his heart, but tells Roman Reigns ECW is dead, and he wishes the same for Sami Zayn, and the crowd booed. Just like booed. He calls Zayn a betrayer and a conspirator, who has aligned himself with the Kevin Owens since day one. Kind of, I feel like I'll get to it. My prediction, at least, says that Zayn has been leading the Bloodline, are leading on the Bloodline, to basically this whole "I belong in the Bloodline" and stuff here. They have some clips here. Heyman calls for Exhibit A, which is a clip from October 12th, 2022, where Drew McIntyre is attacking the Usos, and as we see Sami retreat. Then Exhibit A is Sami grabbing a chair to help the Usos, but not using it because he's dead. The referee is going to see him using it, and he didn't want it to get caught. So then we go to the Exhibit A, Sami Zayn at War Games after the whole Bloodline win. He Heyman claims that Sami is taking the whole glory for himself by being on top of the cage and doing the 4 Life and making fun of the NWO, which is great. Like, 4 Life versus the NWO? Which it popped me a little bit. It shows Exhibit D, Sami shoulder checking Roman during a promo, which he's like the most like blatant, like, you know, random stupid things here. Heyman says that Zayn is guilty as charged, and I love the little pun, the reference to ECW, that being one of ECW's flagship pay-per-views. It was also their final pay-per-view, 2001. Which wasn't a bad show, by the way. I need you guys to go check out ECW's Guilty as Charged 2001. Sami gets on the microphone as he stands up in the chair, says that he had a whole defense plan, but one thing he didn't count on is how he would feel coming out here. Sami basically says that he feels like shit after everything Heyman has told him about the whole conspiracy with Kevin Owens, and he's like doing this for himself and all this stuff. And he feels deflated. Sami basically says, like, my defense is I have no defense. Reigns grabs the mic and is just pissed the hell off. and he asks Sami, "This you don't really have a defense." He asks Sami if his ego is really that big, is it really so big that he won't argue about with an defense. Reigns said he let him into his family, and this is what he shows, the respect he shows to him. Then he calls on Solo Sikoa to hit the Samoan spike. He was getting about to, and this caught me off fucking guard because I did not see it coming, and it was so well executed. Jey Uso, who our first I thought was giving the death glare to Sami, stops Solo from hitting the Samoan spike. He grabs the mic and he says he's putting together his own footage for Sami's defense. And I'm like, okay, where are we going with this? So he shows some clips of Sami playing Roman's music to help the Usos retain the tag team titles against I believe it was I do believe it was Riddle and Kevin and who was it? Who did he team with? Randy Orton, but I could be wrong on that one. Then he shows the other one of Sami taking the Claymore kick for Roman. C and D, he says that Sami taking the chair shot for Solo and Zayn helping Usos retain the tag titles 2 months after that. When they took on Sheamus and Pete Dunne. And Exhibit E is shown where Zayn helps the Bloodline win War Games. He says Jey then says that he's there. He says Jey says everything there is for Roman that is everything there for Roman to see. It says that Zayn has taken a lot for him and the Bloodline. Jey even admits that he wasn't the nicest to Sami. But Sami saw the good in him, and that's what family does. He says that Zayn has proven his loyalty and says he loves him like a brother. He tells fans if they want Sami to stay in the Bloodline, they should throw up their ones, which they all do. Crowd pops for this. Reigns then announces his verdict. He says he's not guilty for now. Reigns tells him to tell Sami to thank Jey. Then finish up tonight, and stay home until the Royal Rumble on Saturday night. Says that he will be giving him his final test then. So that's how that segment ended, and that segment was beautifully crafted, beautifully well done. The line that got me, and the line that's probably going to hurt the most when it actually comes out to play, is Jey telling Sami that he loves him like a brother. When the Usos eventually turn on Sami Zayn for whatever he's going to fuck up on Saturday, that's going to pull on the heartstrings, even cut the rope of whatever the heartstrings left. It's going to be so well done. This storyline is phenomenal. However, Sami Zayn should still not win the Royal Rumble. Neither should The Rock. Which is why I'm going to bring this up here. I think the real reason that the other segment was pulled is because The Rock said, nah, bitch. Nah, bitch. Even though I've been trying to tell people for months that The Rock versus Roman Reigns was never the plan from the beginning. Just because the WWE just because Vince wanted Roman versus The Rock does not mean The Rock said yes to it. And I hear people every week, all day, the other day was like, he's in shape. He's jacked. You can't tell me he's not ring ready. I'm like, do you guys not know? First of all, there's a difference between being jacked and being ring ready. Jacked. You can be in the best shape of your life. That doesn't mean you're fucking in the best shape of your life to have a wrestling match. And also, the last time he was in the best shape of his life for a wrestling match, he got hurt. So that, yeah, that argument is kind of stupid, anyways. Secondly, just because, like I said a minute ago, just because the WWE said that this was it was planned or whatever, or it was teased or whatever, does not mean that The Rock said yes to this match, like, at all. Sure, yeah, 3 years teased. Okay, that does not mean anything. You know why? They teased The Rock with the Survivor Series a few years ago because it was his 25th anniversary. And that motherfucker did not even appear once on the show. Egg did to promote his stupid ass movie that was so fucking bad on Netflix. So no, The Rock is not going to be at WrestleMania. It was not going to be The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. It's not going to be Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Sami Zayn will get his match with Roman Reigns at the Elimination Chamber. That is when all hell is going to break loose, and that is when Sami Zayn is going to reunite with Kevin Owens. And that is going to lead to WrestleMania when Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn challenge the Usos for whichever tag team title it's going to be. It's probably going to be both of them. I don't know. That's all. That is still to be determined on which title they're going to be putting on the line, which leaves the door open for Cody Rhodes to win the Royal Rumble and challenge Roman Reigns in the main event for the WWE Championship and win said WWE Championship. Not rocket scientists, people. It's not rocket science, people. The moment Cody Rhodes walked back into WWE on April, I believe it was April 4th, April 3rd, whatever fucking day it was the day that WWE decided we now have our main event for WrestleMania 39, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. It's kind of, speaking of Roman Reigns, I want to make mention of this other big, huge fucking storyline story. Since I'm on Roman Reigns, I might as well bring this up here. Fightful put out a report earlier about a WWE offering a huge ass match for Stone Cold Steve Austin. Fightful Selector has learned that a pitch was made internally for a huge opponent for Stone Cold Steve Austin, which Fightful Select was told was going to be Roman Reigns. I said, excuse me, what? That was my reaction to the whole thing. We're told at the very least Austin's camp was approached with the possibility of it happening, which was said to have been an enormous amount of money. In the summer of 2022, Fightful reported that Austin was approached with a deal that wasn't appealing to enough from a financial standpoint. Those we spoke to in WWE claimed they haven't heard back on either on whether or not the most recent offer was accepted or not. Another source indicated that another big name was offered to Austin in the months prior. Don't know what name that is. I'm assuming it was the only other big name I could think of is John Cena. But John Cena looks like he's going to be tied up with Austin Theory. As early as this December, WrestleMania title matches, as reported by WrestlingNews.co, which right now their Royal Rumble plans not looking too good because 2 matches they were dead on set saying were going to happen on this show. Not happening. So, yeah. We're slated as Drew McIntyre / Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins on night 1, or to be determined / Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns on another night. Oh, did I say Seth Rollins? Yeah. We don't know how or if that was changed. It was never even fucking planned. In my opinion, I don't think that's going to happen. Austin finally agreed to make his in-ring return last year. He made a event with Kevin Owens. Even up until the day, there was concerns that Austin had changed his mind and all that stuff. So I don't know what Austin's going to do at WrestleMania. I do think he'll make an appearance in the Royal Rumble because there's still slots open for the Royal Rumble match. There's a ton of spots open for the women. WrestlingNews.co also reported the three matches actually that it was there 2 or 3 matches that were it was 2 matches that were scheduled for the Royal Rumble. One of them being Edge versus Finn Balor in a Hell in a Cell match. That's not happening. At least not at this show. I can see Edge versus the Demon taking place at like probably at WrestleMania, maybe. And another match that was supposed to happen, Ronda Rousey versus Raquel Rodriguez. That's not happening. Another match that they said was going to happen that was changed like not even 3 hours later, with Charlotte winning the SmackDown Women's title. They said, "Hey, it's going to be Ronda versus Rhea Ripley." Don't think that's happening. They specify for the SmackDown Women's Championship too. That's not happening. Rhea's probably going to have her fans. She's probably going to stay on Raw and challenge for the Raw Women's Championship when she wins the Royal Rumble, because that's the right fucking decision. But that's how that segment holds. It's a weird thing. Weird thing here. Next up, we got the Usos defending the Raw Tag Team titles. This is the first time since the tag titles were unified that the Raw tag titles are going to be on the line against the Judgment Day with Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley, the 2023 Women's Royal Rumble winner, hopefully. This match was actually really fucking great. Though at one point in the match, Jimmy Uso gets hit with a suicide dive. Jimmy hits a suicide dive. He lands awkwardly on his knee. The medical staff comes down here. They throw up an X. Adam Pearce comes down here. They're about to strip the Usos of the tag titles. That's when Zayn says, I'll step in. Zayn was able to step in. Jay and Zayn deliver a 1D for the win. It looks very awkward to see that, but Zayn helps Jay retain the Raw Tag Team titles. And Roman does not look very happy about it because he literally told not even 20 minutes ago, I don't want to see you until the Royal Rumble. And already, Sami Zayn is not listening to Roman Reigns. The plot thickens. Next up, we got Baron Corbin and JBL walking around like fucking idiots. The pair encounter the Godfather, which Godfather is great. JBL says Corbin is the one is on the list for the Invitational Poker game, which I don't know who set this one up. Godfather says that he's not on the list, and JBL asks him to talk to the man in charge. The Godfather gets him. Out comes Ron Simmons, and I fucking love him. I love Ron Simmons so much. JBL explains things. The Ron flashes him some money. Ron Simmons says that he thinks that they can work something out, and then that leads to the rest of the night of the tournament. Next up, this next segment was great. LA Knight comes out. He says last Friday on SmackDown, Bray Wyatt brought back the Firefly Funhouse. He asks if he was really supposed to be scared of it, then says that he's living on past glory. It says the legends of Raw are here. The legends are here for Raw is XXX. And there's also living on past glory. Then challenges any of them to come out if they're man enough, or if there's any of them left. The Undertaker's gong hits, and then American Badass music plays by Kid Rock. The Undertaker struggles to come down the ring on a motorcycle. Knight then says he's had enough and says that he's heard comments on Joe Rogan's podcast, which popped me a little bit. He says that he tells him to think of the headlines they could create, and then gives him a pass and says that he will let him live to see another day. So that was to watch the pitch black match on Saturday, and then says everyone says everyone has his name in their mouths. L.A. Knight. Yeah. That's how he said it. Then the lights go out. Bray Wyatt's music hits. The purple light comes on. It's like the Undertaker's entrance would do, which looks really fucking cool, by the way. LA Knight gets freaked out by this. He goes back into the ring, runs into a chokehold by the Undertaker. He grabs him and get ready to hit him with a choke slam. However, Bray Wyatt and Undertaker just locked eyes. They both stare each other down. Wyatt gets to the ring, Taker just throws LA Knight at Wyatt. Wyatt delivers Sister Abigail, stares down Taker. Undertaker whispers something to his ear, and then rides on his bike back into the back, and what I consider to be a passing of the torch moment from The Undertaker to Bray Wyatt, which is, I know, 8 years too late. I still think this should happen at WrestleMania 31. That's just beside me. Actually, to be fair, if we're being completely honest, I think they should have it at WrestleMania 30 with Bray Wyatt the Cena thing. It's neither here or there. But I thought that segment was great. Undertaker didn't really have to do very much. He did what he needed to do. Bray Wyatt got put over by the Undertaker. Man, that was great. Next up, we had more of this APA poker tournament. Otis put some chips on the middle. DDP is there. But DDP is always a great sight to see. He looks great. DDP calls out Otis. Alundra Blaze, who's there, says that she has the kings of 4 over 4. DDP puts his cards down and takes the hand and says bang and all that stuff. Next up, we were supposed to get Becky Lynch versus Bayley in a steel cage match. For Ring Crew got this whole thing set up, and Bayley and Damage Control to beat the hell out of Becky Lynch, and this match never gets started. What happened was, and let's go into Select Day, we were able to put a report about this during the show. A reason why an audible had to be called during Raw tonight. Originally, the planned Bayley Becky Lynch steel cage match was very abrupt, leading many to ask why it was changed. Well, FIFA Select has confirmed, this is what they have said. They confirmed that the match and entrances were supposed to get 2 segments. However, Bloodline's opening segment ended up going too long, and several segments needed to be trimmed. So once again, Roman Reigns' fucking 2-hour entrance took up most of TV time. FIFA goes on to say, we're told this affected the Bayley Becky Lynch cage match the most, and they either could work to set up an angle for another to set up another match completely, or do the cage match lasted a minute or two. The result ended up being that angle to set up a future match between the two and another, because they're going to do the steel cage match again somewhere down the road. No injuries were involved in that segment, but that's how that whole thing ended there. It's unfortunate. one segment I think could have been removed from the show completely, and I will get to that in a little bit. Another segment of mine that I really enjoyed was DX. DX comes out here. It's Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Road Dogg, X-Pac, and for some fucking reason, Kurt Angle's out here. So they start doing their shtick. Road Dogg does his whole shtick of, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's time for D-Generation X to proudly present to you. It's 5-time, or 6-time, was it 5-time, 6-time WWE Tag Team Champions of the World, Road Dogg Jesse Games, all that stuff. And as he goes to say the badass Billy Gunn, he turns to Kurt Angle, and they just stop. They had this really confused look on his face. So Road Dogg's trying very hard not to laugh here. Well, but he's not doing very well. He says, "What in the hell are you doing out here? What are you doing?" Kurt Angle, which makes, and this is one of the reasons why I love Kurt Angle. His comedic timing is phenomenal stuff. He says, "I've always wanted to be in DX." I fucking love it. He takes off his Kurt Angle shirt to reveal he's wearing a DX shirt. so he's a DX for one night, I guess. They're getting ready. Triple H is getting ready to say, 1,000 participants and all that stuff. And then Imperium's music hits. I'm like, oh, good Lord, do not FTR this. Do not revival this, please. Gunther, Ludwig Kaiser, Giovanni Vinci comes out. They head to the ring. Kaiser shames DX for all of their filth and nonsense. Gunther says DX has no reason to celebrate as they've made a mockery of professional wrestling. Says that they're here to kick them out of their ring unless one of them wants to do something about it. Sure. At this point, and this is where Gunther is so hard. He laughs. He genuinely has a smile on his face, and he's trying very, very, very hard not to break character. Triple H gets in his face and says, he backs up and says, "Well, I'm retired. I'm retired." Shawn Michaels, then awkward silence. Meanwhile, fucking Gunther is laughing his ass off, because he's just great to say this. Michael says he's too old. He's too old. X-Pac says that he has the case of the sweats, which, like, okay. Road Dogg asks, "Oh, who is he, kid? I ain't doing that." DX hustles and says Kurt Angle has volunteered to fight them. Angle says, "No, I didn't. Nope, I did not." Triple H says that DX is in a jam and it isn't pickle. Says he wishes someone come out here and is willing to fight them. Seth freaking Rollins music hits, and the crowd loses the shit. Seth Rollins is over as fuck. I know people want Sami Zayn to win. If Cody Rhodes does not win the Royal Rumble, the only other man I think is capable of and worthy enough to win the Royal Rumble is Seth Rollins, other than Cody Rhodes. That's just how I feel here. Rollins comes out here. They start singing their song. So does DX. So I'm like, I thought we were still singing. Sorry. X-Pac says there's one of Rollins and 3 of Imperium. Street Profits music comes out. Street Profits barely get. I can drop this flashlight in my hand. You can still hear it. In the arena. That's almost how loud the reaction to the Street Profits coming out was compared to Seth Rollins. They come out, and this was probably my line of the night. Everyone is looking. So Road Dogg's asking, "Okay, well, what's next? Everybody's out here. What's next?" Shawn Michaels is there. Triple and all that stuff. Triple H says, "Why is everybody looking at me? This booking stuff is not easy." Or what was the line he exactly said? It was really funny. he said, if I can find it, it's pretty fun. Okay, so he says, "Why is everyone else looking at me? You know, this whole booking thing isn't easy." And that was my line of the night. I popped hard for that. I popped very, very hard for that. He says, I wish there was somebody, who's uh, uh, more suited to make this type of music, make this type of announcements, or do something about it. Taylor Long's music comes out, blocking everybody and all that stuff. He's he's finished blocking people. He comes out here. He says, let me tell you something, player, or hold on there a second, player, or something like that. It was great. I'm like, well, first of all, Teddy, you've already missed your cue. The Undertaker's already been here, so you can't put anybody one-on-one with the Undertaker. So you missed that cue here. But instead, he says, "You'll be Imperium. You'll go on. You'll take on the team of the Street Profits and Seth freaking Rollins. Yeah, 6-man tag team match, player." So DX howls up again because they said something about a special referee. Kurt Angle, who then takes off his shirt to reveal another shirt. He's wearing a referee shirt with the American colors on it, red, white, and blue. And Michaels calls for the bell. The bell to be rung, and the bell rings. And then we got Imperium versus the Street Profits and Seth Rollins with Kurt Angle as the special referee. Jerry the King Lawler joined commentary. This match was actually really good, really, really fun. Thank God they did not bury Imperium like I thought they would. So Rollins hits the curb stomp on Giovanni Vinci for the win. This was a great match. Great tag team match. Great look for Gunther and the Imperium. Triple H able to put his boys, his NXT boys. By the way, I should put that out. Triple H put over all versions. He put over is two NXT team prospects and the Street Profits and Imperium, and his NXT standout original Seth Rollins, and it was great to see that. So Seth Rollins and the Street Profits win. Great match. Very happy the Imperium has not been buried in any way. If this was, I can tell you for a fact, if this was Vince booking the show, the Street Profits would have beaten Gunther in like 2 seconds. Or where wouldn't even been a match. They would have had the Legends just beat the shit out of Imperium. Though I feel like Triple H wouldn't even be involved in that. Like, I ain't doing that. So we got more backstage stuff here with this poker game stuff. Baron Corbin gets the better hand, gets the better of Ted DiBiase, and takes his money. So all this stuff is going on here. $1 Million Man comes in with Bray Wyatt's daddy. IRS tells JBL and Corbin to always remember to pay your taxes. DiBiase comes in and he just basically buys the hand. He just buys the entire hand and walks off with the money that he bought from this whole thing. Ron Simmons comes here with this classic "damn," and it was great. And that was the end of that whole entire the whole poker thing. Next up, we get a promo with Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley has been asked by Kathy Kelly why Bobby thinks that this match became a no disqualification match. He says that no disqualification means there's no excuse for why Austin Theory retains his title instead of him winning it back. He says that he will still be United States champion. He would still be United States champion if it was Brock Lesnar. Foreshadowing. And he will be Austin Theory, not foreshadowing. MVP walks in, says he asked for a moment along with Bobby Lashley. He says he has no doubt that Lashley will win the title. And Lashley says he doesn't need help to become number one. He didn't need his help to become number one contender, which is what happened last night because Omos helped Lashley beat the rest of the field here. He asked MVP to let him handle his business alone tonight. So there's that. Here's what Here is what should have been stripped from the show completely. Rick fucking Flair comes out here with his dumb ass and says things like "woo" and all that crap, and the line got really under my skin the most. You had the best line of the night, which was the Triple H talking about him being the booker of the show, to probably the worst line of the night, which was, and I quote, he says, and this really got under my skin and a lot of other people, the greatest WWE Women's Champion in history. Meanwhile, you have the likes of Asuka on your roster, the likes of Shayna Baszler on your roster. You have your legends like Trish Stratus and Lita and Victoria and Mickey James and who was some other ones. They don't like talking about Fabulous Moolah, Mae Young and who's some other names I'm trying to throw out here. Well, you get my point. And you're just gonna shit all over them for Charlotte Flair. This is why people don't like Charlotte Flair, even as a babyface. She's still boring. She has great matches, but her character is trash. She comes out here again, says she's faced the Bella Twins. Okay, Bella Twins barely get a reaction because, of course, they do. Ronda Rousey gets booed out of the building. Asuka gets a great reception. Rhea Ripley gets a fucking monster pop when she mentions which mentions her name because Rhea Ripley is a fucking superstar. Again, hopefully wins the Royal Rumble on Saturday. I'm just saying this right now. Do not honor under any circumstance. Do not Shayna Baszler this. Okay? Do not do what Vince did. Don't have the favorite coming into the show be Shayna Baszler and then switch it fucking a match that no one wanted to see. Just saying. So she says that it was because of them she became the most. No, that's not. No. It's because of Vince McMahon that and you being the daughter of Ric Flair is why you became the most quote unquote successful or most decorated women's athlete of all time. Bullshit accolades. And then here's where I got almost got pissed off because I thought, do not, under any circumstance, do what I thought they were going to do. Bianca Belair's music comes out here. It says, Bianca Belair comes out here and says, she respects everything Flair's done for the wrestling business, but Raw's her show and her hope, whatever, that bullshit and all that crap. Sonya Deville's music hits. She starts talking all this nonsense, all that stuff, and then this match happens between Bianca Belair and Sonya Deville, and Bianca Belair just beats her, just like that. 1, 2, 3, KOD wins. He just buried Sonya Deville. So I don't even care if this match happens on Saturday now. If not Alexa Bliss, if Charlotte versus Sonya Deville ends up happening at the Royal Rumble, I'm not going to give a shit. Put that on the pre-show because you may be. First of all, she already lost to Charlotte for like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Clean, by the way. So why am I? And then she lost here clean. Why should I believe under any circumstance? By the way, she didn't just lose here. She got her ass kicked and buried by John Cena 2.500. And this Cena booking with Bianca Belair is the exact reason I don't really care for her. Anyway, what was I going to say here? Where the fuck was I going with that? Oh, so anyway, I am not going to believe for a second that Sonya Deville is going to walk away, even to have a slightest chance to walk away as a women's champion. Not like she did prior to this match or a few weeks ago, but after this match, there's no way. Just put this match at the pre-show if you're going to do this match at the pre-show. And by the way, Charlotte just disappears. By the way, just disappears for the rest of the show. Like after this, like once this match started, she just disappears. She fucking. Hey, see you later. Goodbye. Thankfully, Triple H didn't tease what I thought he was going to, and almost gave me a fucking heart attack, which was the merging of the women's championships. I'm like, we don't need any more mergings of any titles, unless you're going to merge the only titles. Even though there should be any titles of those anyways, they should be merged. It's the women's tag team titles from NXT and the main roster. Even though there shouldn't be any of those titles anyway, those titles are useless and they aren't really helping the fucking women's division anyway. But thankfully, he did not tease a merge of the main women's titles, because that does not need to happen. Not today, not next week, not ever. We're getting close to splitting the other two titles up, the tag titles and the world titles. So keep them separate. But after the match, Bianca Belair comes on the microphone, says she hasn't forgot about what Alexa Bliss did, and yada 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 yada. Bliss comes on the screen and says, "Hey, I don't need Uncle Howdy or Bray Wyatt. I'm gonna rip your eyeballs out and then walk away with the Raw Women's title. Whoop-de-fucking-do." I don't really need it. This Alexa Bliss thing is not doing it for me at all. I know a lot of people like Alexa. I do like Alexa Bliss. Don't get me wrong, but this is not the Alexa Bliss I like. The other Alexa Bliss I like is the one she debuted on SmackDown back in 2016. That was the best Alexa Bliss, because it was just her being good at stuff. Next up, we get the same fucking video package from last week about Cody Rhodes. If you guys didn't know by now, Cody Rhodes is coming back and he's going to be in the Royal Rumble. Did you know he was injured? Just show up at the Rumble and win the damn thing already, Cody. Let's get it over with. Then we got The Miz coming out here complaining for some reason. Here, I had an interesting idea. I said, would it be funny if the Miz was out here and then the Authors of Pain, who were rumored, or not rumored, they were discussed by WWE to come back with the Paul Ellering. And I said, well, wouldn't it be funny if the Authors of Pain just came out here and just beat the shit out of The Miz, because no one likes The Miz? That didn't happen. Kevin Owens comes out here and just Stone Cold his way to doing something. Cut a promo about on the match on Saturday, saying, basically he's going to be what Roman Reigns is in that Spear Wake, defending the title. And then he beats the shit out of not Sami Zayn, The Miz again. And then we got the main event. No disqualification match. This match was not actually good at all. This match was kind of boring, if I'm being honest, dude. Most of this match happened at commercial break anyway, so no one got to see it. Let's talk about the ending of this match here. So Lashley delivers a suplex to Austin Theory off the top rope. He follows it up with an elbow. Then he gets Theory up on his shoulders, plants him. Theory delivers a low blow, but Lashley manages to send Theory through a table they set up previously, which is one of those it's one of the power handle slam things that he does. It's like a choke slam, but not really. Class was music kids, and I'm like, well, they are going to do Brock versus Lashley again at WrestleMania, and not a single person gives a shit, because the last two matches were fucking trash. Lesnar comes out here, F5's Lashley, then F5's Austin Theory onto Lashley. A referee counts 3, and Austin Theory retains with the help of Brock Lesnar, and didn't even get enough time to soak this in, as they went fucking cut. They just cut the fucking feed completely. So it does look like we're going to get Lashley versus Lesnar at WrestleMania Part 3. Whoop-de-fucking-do a match I don't give a shit about at all. But I can see a point. I do think now this kind of, to me, signifies that not Roman Reigns, Lashley is going to be in the Rumble. Is going to be in the Rumble, and so is Brock Lesnar. I think Brock Lesnar is going to get in the Rumble, and I think both Lashley and Lesnar are going to eliminate each other to set up that match for WrestleMania. So, yeah, but yeah, other than like the last hour, if I cut out that last hour, if I cut out like the Charlotte Flair, Bianca, Sonya stuff, maybe the Miz stuff, and then cut a little bit off of that main event, I would say that this episode of Raw was fucking fantastic. I enjoyed tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. Will I say the same thing on Friday? But SmackDown, the go-home show for that show? I don't know. What is set up for SmackDown this week? Let's find out. Let's see what is up for SmackDown this week. Okay, so SmackDown preview lineup for this week, we have Roman Karrion Kross versus Rey Mysterio. That's gonna be that match. Hopefully, it's gonna be. Hopefully, I'm hoping Rey can bring out something out of Karrion Kross. I'm begging you, Kross, you gotta start wrestling matches like you used to on the independents, or people are gonna stop caring about it. You cannot start wrestling like the Undertaker or Kane. You gotta do your Killer Kross stuff or something. We got Owens and Solo Sikoa. Drew McIntyre and Sheamus will take on Hit Row in the semi-finals for the tournament to face the use of the SmackDown tag titles, and Imperium will take on Legado del Fantasma in the other finals match as well. And we'll hopefully get something with Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy, and we'll probably get the rules of this match on Friday. We still don't know the rules of the Pitch Black match. But first, let's go through the lineup now for the Royal Rumble and Royal Rumble, the other matches. So the non-Rumble matches, we have LA Knight versus Bray Wyatt in a Pitch Black match. Roman Reigns defending the undisputed Universal title against Kevin Owens, and Bianca Belair defending the Raw Women's title against Alexa Bliss. The men's Royal Rumble match, the participants announced on that one is as followed. We have Kofi Kingston, Santos Escobar, Ricochet, Seth Rollins, Austin Theory, Bobby Lashley, Baron Corbin, Rey Mysterio, Gunther, Cody Rhodes, Omos, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, and Karrion Kross. On the women's side, you have Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, my personal pick to win, and should be the pick for everybody. Candice LeRae, Raquel Rodriguez, Shayna Baszler, Selena Vega, and Emma. So that is the confirmed names for the Royal Rumble. I will hopefully get a Royal Rumble prediction show up by this middle of this week. I'm hoping to get one done by Thursday, or maybe and have it up by Friday, or I might try to do one tomorrow. I don't know. I will let you guys know. But until then, I've been Matt the Misfit. This has been the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. Until then, we're out.